Just waiting on a few more people to join us from the curriculum committee, and then we'll get going. I do want to let everyone know I'm recording the meeting already. You think we're good, Susie, or how many more do we need?
We do have a quorum. I was just seeing if anybody else was joining.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get going then.
Okay.
I will call the October 6, 2022 meeting to session at 2:33 p.m. First thing we're going to do is approve the minutes from September 1st, 2022. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second to. Thank you. And all in favor, please raise your hand.
Who seconded, please?
Rob.
Okay, we're fine.
And lower your hands. Any opposed? Thank you. And the minutes have passed. We actually do not have any new business this month, so we are going to get going with the other business, which will take up the time we have together today. And I thank you all for joining me. I just wanted to announce the upcoming dates and deadlines for the last two curriculum meeting of fall. So we have, I don't even know the date today, 6th. We have October 10th being the deadline for deans to submit any items for the November 3rd meeting to the curriculum office. We are still using the old Word documents for the November 3rd meeting. We have a deadline of November 7th for the December 1st meeting, and all submissions will be completed in Watermark, as well as the review process will be done in Watermark, then starting for the December meeting. So what these dates mean is we need to be ready to submit and review in Watermark by November. So I thank you all for joining me today. And we will go over some Watermark training when we get through the rest of the other items. Okay? All right, our first other item will be presented on class seat time and class break time.
Thank you, Julianne.
How are you all? Thank you.
So, hi, everybody. This topic has come up a couple of times, and there's actually no documentation in any of our policies or procedures or handbooks that really outline how we should delineate seat time, allowing for breaks. And certainly if you're meeting for 1 hour, 50 minutes, it's not necessary to include a break. But we do have classes that extend several hours. And what would be the standard time that we would put in for a break? This is key because as we try to really refine our scheduling processes so that everybody is kind of on the same page and doing the same practice. So in digging through some paperwork, we have found some comments about after an hour and a half, there should be a 10-minute or a 15-minute break. It's referenced both ways. There is nothing that we're seeing in ICCB that kind of tells us the guidelines that we have to follow on this. So at this point in time, I'm kind of opening it up for discussion, but I would like at some point in time we come to a conclusion what this should be. And I'm thinking because we do count out time in our course outlines, now called the master syllabus, putting this in the curriculum handbook might be one place to store this information so people are all counting things the correct way. So opening it up for conversation at this point in time.
Okay, thank you. Michael?
Hi. I can start because I've been doing this a long time. Our night classes, it's a 3 credit hour class, so it should meet 150 minutes. And we typically set up an extra 15 minutes. Just in the class time, we have never made the class time official. I've always told instructors teaching this, it's really just night for us. I realize for other people it might be different, but for us these are night classes. Whenever I have a night instructor, I always make sure they know that they can take a 15-minute break. I've never always said though, you don't have to feel like it needs to be on the second. If you really have something going an hour and 15 minutes into the course, you can wait 10 minutes for the break. Quite honestly, some have told me quite honestly that the students beg them to just leave 15 minutes early, which they're still getting the class time. And if they do that, I would hope though that everyone has agreed if they're going without a break. But that's what we've done. So when you see 7 to 9:45 on a 3 credit hour class, that does allow for a break time. I'm not saying that's the way we should continue to do this. I'm saying that's the way we have done it.
And Michael, is that meeting the entire just 1 day per week for the
Yes,
course?
yes. And again, this is a three. Every department would have to adjust accordingly. But we
Right.
we are doing 3 credit hour classes, or if it's a late start, or a summer class, then it meets twice a week for that exact amount of time. And in fact, now that I think about it, I should add in summer we use that a lot, where we go, we go over the 150 minutes that we need, and with the idea that you don't need to be seated that whole time, that you can take a 15-minute break somewhere in there.
So Michael, can I ask, when you submit your schedule to scheduling, that's the time you're putting down,
Yes,
7 to 9:45?
exactly. If you look
Got
at our night classes, they say 7 to 9:45, or we have some from 6 to 9:45. We've never bothered to break it down in scheduling. We've just given the whole time, and then make sure the instructors know. Hope they'll remember that the instructors know that you can take a break in there, because that's actually over the amount of time that you're required to meet.
Okay, thank you. Does
Mhm.
anyone else have an example? I would like to say I haven't taught night classes in quite a while, but I do believe I did the same thing when we were running the night classes. What happened is when internet classes started to get popular, my night class enrollment dropped. So that's the primary reason we do not run a lot anymore. But I believe I did the same thing with the 15-minute break. Okay, Cullen?
Okay, I'm trying to get my microphone set here. Yeah, my Tuesday, Thursday classes run in the exact same time frame that you're talking about. Each one is a 2.5 hour course, and I've always given the 10 to 15-minute break. I do the 10-minute break if we have like a time shortage, or if there's something that has to be done in the second portion of it there. But usually it's a 15-minute break. It's an hour and a half in, is when I try and time it. And I use it as a kind of way of changing what's going on. So if there's like lecture in the first part, that would change to a lab activity. Or if they're finishing up topics in a previous day, I would switch to the next one over. So I find a way to set up that way. It's not really done at a set time then. It's usually done in kind of, I don't know, see the pants kind of thing, where you're just sort of looking at what's going on, and are we finishing this up, and if so, I'll push it a few extra minutes just to finish it and then do the break, so it doesn't have to happen right at that particular time. But for the 2.5 hour to 3 hour courses that I've run from since I got here 16 years ago, it's always been like that. And now I've got more courses that are blocked up that way. So I think that rule of thumb of it being like 10 to 15 minutes is probably about right. But I've been doing that for years.
Thank you. Oh, anyone else would like to share what they're doing or their ideas on this?
So I'm going to take it that after an hour and a half is when we should be considering putting the break in. So if you're meeting less than an hour and a half, no break. Over an hour and a half, start instituting a break into there.
I'm sorry, I'm just jotting this down. Thank you. Did someone else have their hand up? I don't see it anymore.
Yeah, I think I have. This is Sadia. I teach chemistry, and we do give it after, uh, especially an hour or hour and a half. Like, the students do need a break because whether we're doing the calculations, whether we are like even the teaching the content, it's then we are not able to keep their focus without the breaks. So I kind of just give them like 5 minutes break, asking them like stretch out, like, get a drink of water or anything so that like we're back in after 5 minutes and like, more focused on our work again.
Yes. Thank you.
Julie, I'm a visitor, but can I just
Oh,
grab a
go right
second?
ahead.
Here?
Yes, go right ahead.
We do a lot of nominally 3-hour classes. They're all scheduled for 2 hours and 45 minutes. And as Michael said, that's more than our required seat time in those classes. So I think, maybe one way of looking at this is how much seat time do our students need to spend in the classroom on a given day? And if we feel like they really have to have a break somewhere in there, then we're going to have to calculate that in. But our practice during nominally 3 credit hour, 3-hour sessions is the same as what Michael was describing.
I think the key for this issue, I wish this would be a problem, that we are stacked up, class after class for a classroom so that we're not running into each other faculty's classes with time and breaks and things like that. So that's a purpose behind getting some kind of standardization on here. I recognize, some faculty agree with the students, let's just keep powering through and we're not going to do it. And that's fine. You won't be running into another faculty's classroom at that point in time. But if we don't allow for that break time, we don't schedule it, it will cause some hiccups in the system. So
Yeah, it has to be scheduled. I mean, that's so when I do the way I do it, it sounds like this is what most other people who have these classes are doing. The room is covered. So if we're going 7 to 9:45, which is 15 more minutes than we need to, well, that's actually a bad example because who's going to have a class at 10 o'clock at night? But in the
Right.
summer,
Understood.
yeah, in the summer, if we have a class that's starting at 9 in the morning. Whatever we set it up for, they wouldn't stack that. You obviously, you can't go beyond your time. And if you are going to have breaks, it should be scheduled. Yeah, you should. In other words, your course needs to be longer. Your meeting time needs to be longer than the required seat time. I don't think anyone would mind the idea of everybody stand up and stretch for a minute. But if you're going to give a 15-minute break. With the ICCV and IAI, we definitely need to make sure that time is not seat time, those 15-minute breaks.
All right, Julian, I think we have a consensus here.
Yes.
So maybe we can write up something and we can bring it before everybody. I don't know that it needs to be voted on, but
No, but we could share it next month.
include it into the handbook then.
Okay,
And that can
thank
be
you.
shared then also with scheduling so that there's consistency then.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Okay, we are going to talk a minute about part-time maps. So you've all seen and been familiarized with your own maps or the maps of the different programs the college has. Kayla, and I'm not sure if Kayla is here today. Let's look. Kayla and Shelley have brought to our attention that they are developing a part-time map. So I'm going to share that with you. I'm clicking
Neither
too
are
many
here
buttons.
today, Julian.
Neither, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am going to share this part-time map with you now. You could zoom in with the little plus button on top of your screen if need be. I don't see. Let's see here. What I want and I told Shelley and Kayla this, what I want for us to do as TRC or CCC members to review this to make sure that we're not missing anything. But this is a general Associate of Arts degree program map for a part-time student. I talked with both Shelley and Kayla about the need to have language where it says maps may be modified and students are recommended to work with an academic advisor to create a personalized academic plan because they will be different for each student. But the college wanted to give the, excuse me, the kind of framework for how long it would take a student if they were taking 2 courses at a time. This map is detailed in that manner. It does only contain fall and spring, and we know students will take maybe different number each semester, or they'll take summer school, so it has to be personalized. I did ask them if we wanted to do an Associate of Science map, and they said they want to start with the arts because that's what most students who are, you know, especially the undeclared ones, are coming into Triton with, and that's what Kayla had told me. So for us as members of the curriculum committee, we want to just review this. So it will be posted in the TRC Blackboard shell next month for the November review. If you could take the time to look through it, you know, count up the gen ed categories, count the hours, make sure everything looks right, proofread it, right? And then we'll present this again at the November meeting, and then the college would like this to be available for students as well. Any comments or questions on this right now?
Where exactly is this going to be housed and stored or accessible to students?
Well, let me put it to you this way, and I asked that same question. I know that this is, they have told me that this is a tool that will be used by the advisors. However, I do believe that it is going to be published in that electronic catalog that we have. Susie, am I quoting that properly? Is that what they told us?
That was one of the suggestions, yes.
Okay. Right. And we can definitely, we can make recommendations on this as well. But the advisors were asking for a tool to use to show a visual for these students to see how long it would take them to get an associate, you know, at this rate. But then they could tailor it to each individual student.
I know the idea of part-time thing, and I think it's a great thing. I just, knowing how some students' inflexibility is, I'm wondering if a checklist versus a map would be more acceptable, because how do you write a map for every student's variables? Where I could take three this semester, I could take 9 this semester, I could take 5 this semester.
Right.
And that's why I think a map might be almost burdensome, but almost a procedural checklist may be better.
Mm-hmm. We could certainly talk with Kayla about that. Now, Kayla is an advisor. I didn't know if everyone in here knew her role at the college, but we could certainly talk to her about that and bring recommendations to her, because we certainly want this to be the best possible option for the students. Sue?
So yes, Bill, we could never possibly predict the opportunities that one could be for a part-time student. They could be full-time to start and then go part-time and switch in and out, which we know many of our students do. I think one of the things that will be key to help the students in this instance would be to use a student planning tool where they could actually put their courses in and see how long it takes to get to where they want to get to at the end. The challenge right now is we're putting in all those maps into that planning tool. It takes about an hour to put each one of the maps in. We've got 150 of those to put in. So at this rate, we don't have that done. It's something that we're working to get completed as soon as possible, because that will help students plan their courses appropriately, independent of how long they plan on taking to get this accomplished. So I think this is just really something to show the students. We all recognize it's going to take a lot longer when you start to spread it out in a part-time fashion, but let's remember that about 75% of our students are part-time. So while our maps are full-time, and that's great, trying to illustrate this in some manner is kind of the goal behind this.
Thank you. Derek?
Yeah, I'm going to jump on with what VP Campos said. To me, this kind of feels like a marketing or guide tool. Correct me if I'm wrong. But what I have, and not having a wealth of student affairs experience, what I've heard from our personnel in the transfer center and some of the advisors as well, is the academic planning tool. We're trying to increase student usage of that tool, but that's where you can plan out and like visually see and actually drag and drop the courses kind of like this, but without having another document like this to have to fill in. I guess I'm trying to say. My point being is I want to know more about the academic planning tool and potential, just that could be the thing that we use to serve this purpose, like for each individual student's plan. Whereas this, what we're seeing here, could, like I'm saying, could just be a marketing thing for newer students to kind of give them a visual of what their next, of how long their degree could take. And again, I'm a little out of my depth in speaking that, so if someone knows more about the academic planning tool, please correct me.
In that academic planning tool, that's in is that in their portal, the one that we're working on to migrate all the degrees into?
Yes, it's
I
available
believe
in the
so.
portal.
Yeah, it's through CRM Advise, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, there is something available for the students, so it has to be, I would say, is in the portal,
Right.
for them to be able to access it.
Okay. Tracy?
Having done the advisor role as a counselor for a long time, especially transfer, I would say that this is actually more than a marketing tool. It's a beginning way to help students to visualize. And if they have something like this they can look at, then the advisors actually do academic plans with them. But I think it would help the part-time students to feel more confident in going in and beginning to do a plan that they then could review with the advisors. So I think it's helpful in terms of them getting a picture that they then might be encouraged to follow up on.
Thank you. Michael?
I like that there's some of these things underneath, you could create a transferology account and transfer 101 workshop and, consider registering for summer courses, things like that. I think that kind of advice is good. Julianne, if I have a thought on the order of the courses, should I comment now or wait till we give feedback?
Why don't we do that in the TRC?
Got it.
Yeah, because we are going to post this in the TRC for comments. And because, again, Susie might put that in the minutes, but I won't remember, unfortunately, unless I see that and could cross-reference your recommendation to what's already here.
That's fine. Thanks.
And one of my comments to Kayla was, I'm not sure the students will know the terminology of what a core course is. Some of them don't know what the terminology of gen eds are until they speak with an advisor. So, they really need to get that information up front with the, potentially the first meeting with an advisor. I just was mentioning that. That's what I had told Kayla as well. I'm like, they're not going to know what a core course means, amongst other, language that might be in here. So what we'll do is we'll post this in the TRC. We'll show it again next month, and we'll look at what recommendations you have in the TRC. Kayla can look them over. We will all look them over, and then we'll try to finalize this part-time tool. Okay. All right. Next, we have inactive programs. I don't have a slide to share with you on the inactive programs, but they are in your packet. So I believe it's the last slide, the last page of your packet. There are some inactive curriculum programs. We do this every fall. So with these programs, the departments that have the programs should be looking over their need for the program to either reactivate it or to bring the curriculum, the program to the curriculum committee to suggest a withdrawal. And if we do that, then we would form a study committee to review it. And remember, I tend to say this as well every fall, is if you would like to get rid of a program, delete it, we would inactivate that first. Once the program is inactivated, the faculty should check with research to make sure there are no active students in the program. If there are active students in the program, you want to make sure that you leave the program on the books at Triton long enough for all those students to complete. So you have to build out a plan, and some call that a sunsetting plan. How long are we going to keep the inactivated program till all the students have completed that want to complete? Some departments have also suggested other curriculum for them to change into. For instance, if there is a more appropriate curriculum for them or something that matches, might be a little bit different, we could advise the students on changing curriculum as well. Once all the students are out of the program, then we'll have a vote on it for it to be deleted. But in order for it to be deleted, the curriculum committee and the study committee will ask, are all the students done? We'll check with research before we do on that. So we're going to inactivate it, check with research, build a plan for the students. Once they're all done, then we could bring it to the curriculum committee to vote on a deletion of that program. But again, that's only in that case. If the program needs to be reactivated, then we could work on that as well. So have all the faculty and department chairs in these areas, please look that over. Next, we're going to move on to Watermark. And I want to remind everyone that 2 tasks need to be completed this fall. And that first one is the course learning outcomes. And you see them on your screen right now, those 2 tasks. So the course learning outcomes were completed by assessment fellows last spring. All the course learning outcomes were revised. Instead of being 1 to 2 sentences, they're now bullet points, and it could be 1 to 6 bullet points. They were revised, and hopefully they were in the assessment portion of the Watermarks platform. So we need to copy and paste to make sure that they match exactly what is being on the curriculum forms in Watermark. And I can show you how to do that in a moment. But those are the course learning outcomes for the curriculum purposes are entered on course forms. And I'll show you again where that is when I do a demo of Watermark in a moment. So the first thing is making sure course learning outcomes are numbered 1 through 6. The student will be able to, and then bullet points 1 through 6. And that has to be exactly the same as assessment. During our assessment work, we not only need to assess the program learning outcomes and document it, we're also assessing the course learning outcomes and documenting that as well. And Christy from the assessment committee has directed us that 1/3 of all our courses need to be assessed on their course learning outcomes every year in a 3-year cycle. So then after 3 years, all the course learning outcomes would have been assessed. So that's our first task, and I'll show you that in a moment. And then the second task, review and enter data on the master syllabus, which is in Watermark as well. So those are the 2 things we have to get accomplished this fall. Now, the course learning outcome deadline is a little bit sooner. I think it's towards the middle to end of October, but we can check on that. I know that Christy sent emails with the deadline, so you can look in your emails for that one. Review and enter data on the master syllabus. I would highly encourage you to do this as soon as possible, especially if you're going to be using these master syllabus this fall, but definitely by the end of fall, because come spring, all we're using is Watermark, right? It's actually come the December meeting, all we're using is Watermark. We'll no longer accept anything on the Word document. So, once spring starts, we want everything in there to be accurate on the forms. So I'm going to do a demo for you now. I'm going to share my screen. Just take one moment here. Okay, so, and I do want to thank Beth, if Beth is here, because I took her idea of having a centralized location for login to Watermark. So here we are in our portal. And if you go to faculty resources and then curriculum, there is a login for Watermark on the right-hand side under the resource/links, Watermark Connect. Okay, and so once you click on that, you will be brought to this home page right here. Before I go any further, I want to show you where my training materials are in the Blackboard Shells. You get into the curriculum committee in the Blackboard Shells, Watermark training. I will have today's recorded meeting at the bottom. If you scroll all the way down, we have the September 1 recorded curriculum meeting, which has the same training we're about to go through again, but hopefully we'll have more questions today. And then what you see is I have a PowerPoint for you to look through. The two probably most beneficial forms that are on here are Watermark tips, where to find specific fields. So if you want to change a credit hour, you want to change a topic, you want to change assessment, this tells you where to find those fields, because there's 4 forms in Watermark. And then how to update your course learning outcomes in the course form. So that walks you through step-by-step on how to copy your course learning outcomes from the assessment platform in Watermark and paste them into the curriculum platform in Watermark. So when you log into the link through the portal, you come to this home page. It should be an automatic login. I was talking to some faculty over this last week, and they said as long as you're logged into your email, it automatically logs you in to this system. But I'm hoping, because it's in the portal, we're logged into the portal, same thing, it should be an automatic login. So planning and self-study is the assessment platform, or I should say the assessment portion of Watermark. I'm going to open both of them. And then curriculum strategy is where we do our curriculum work. So I'm going to have them both open. Okay, so there's the assessment. And if we wanted to copy and paste the course learning outcomes from assessment, I'll just show you how to find them. Again, this is all written in my 2 documents that I have in that Blackboard shell. So we're going to enter our program. Go to curriculum. You're going to see the courses. You can open the course. And I'm hoping I'm doing this right. And go to course information. You're going to see the learning outcomes. I mean, there's a couple of different ways to get to them, but I really do think that this Watermark platform is pretty self-explanatory. So when you're in the planning self-study assessment, look for curriculum, look for your courses. Once you open your course, it's under course information. And what I did literally is I had 2 windows open, copy it, paste it into the curriculum portion of Watermark. Okay. So I'll start with this idea with you right now. There are 4 forms in Watermark. There are 4 forms. Let me do this real quick. I'll show you one other thing, so you can see all the names of them at one time. Can't open it that way. All right, well, again, I'm not going to share that then. Let's just move on. There's 4 forms in Watermark. Under curriculum management, think of this as everything that's visible in the catalog to all the stakeholders. So it is all your curriculum forms, and then the information that's in courses that is in the catalog. So if we think about looking through a catalog, we have the title, we have the course description, we have the course learning outcomes and things like that. But what would be, if we had a printed one, or now it's online, what's visible for the students that's in courses. And then what's in the syllabus management We have the master syllabus and sectional syllabus, okay? So the curriculum forms, if I go into curriculum management, the curriculum forms, anything that's going to be submitted is going to be on this top portion. These are all the forms that people will use to submit. The curriculum forms have every field that they currently have on them right now. Let's see. I always do a revised one, because if I open the new one, it's going to be, you know, completely blank. A new curriculum form will be completely blank. But if I open a revised curriculum, it's the exact fields that we're used to reviewing and looking at that are Word documents right now. This will auto-populate from the catalog, and the submitter will then fill in the fields that are required, or fill in the fields that they want to make revisions. So all of these fields you could type in, or their checkboxes, drop-down menus, and here if they wanted to change the course description, right, they could strike that out and add in the new language. I'm not going to go through every field, just save time for questions, but anything with the red required has to be filled out, and then this is where you're going to be making your revisions, are on this form. So this one is the curriculum form, okay? Now our course outline that we have as Word document is really split into two different things. And that's really how it is right now. If you recall, the course outline right now has a course proposal page and then the course outline pages. So that's kind of exactly how it is in Watermark. The first part of the course outline is now called course form. And then the second portion, where we list all our topics and learning outcomes of the particular course, the topical course learning outcomes, the topical outcomes, that's on what's the master syllabus. So think of this as your course outline is split into two. And I'll show you the fields on this course form. So I just opened up the course form. This is where you're going to input the course learning outcomes from the assessment platform. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Can I?
Yes,
Okay,
I
I don't know.
We're just listening. You're doing good.
Okay.
We can hear you fine, Julianne.
Okay. All right. So we're going to copy and paste from the assessment into these course forms. So you saw how I opened from the drop-down menu this particular course. And if I want to go ahead and scroll down to course learning outcomes, I can copy it from that assessment page. We'll pretend this is the assessment page for that course. And I will come in here and say, upon successful completion of course, the student will be able to, and then I'm going to edit this and put it exactly in, bullet points for 1 through. If you only have 2, that's fine. Some of mine only have 2, some have 4, whatever it may be. The recommendation was 1 through 6. So that's where you're going to update the course learning outcomes. And you'll see the information that is really posted in the catalog for each course. The prefix, the number, the course description, the category of course. Is it Gen Ed? What kind of Gen Ed? Is it a core course? Is it electives? We can help you if you have questions on these fields as you start using them. Okay. And once that you fill it in the way you would like, what I can say is double check, make sure all the required fields are filled in. Because if they're not, you can't save it. So you're going to make sure it's accurate. Then you're going to click Save. Once you click Save, as a submitter, you have to approve it. So if you're the submitter, you're clicking Save, then you're clicking Approve. When that is submitted, an email will then be sent to the department chair to look this over, to evaluate it, and to approve it. Once the department chair looks it over, evaluates, approves it, an email will be sent to the dean. The dean will evaluate and approve it. It will then go to the curriculum office. What we're going to be doing for the December meeting, right? It's kind of trial and error here, but for the December meeting and potentially spring, we don't want any members of the curriculum committee or TRC to actually click approve. You are going to go in as a member of the curriculum committee and technical review committee and review the syllabus and write comments. I should say review the forms and write comments, but don't approve them at this point in time. Once we have a consensus that it's good to go, then the curriculum office will approve it to go to the meeting for a vote. So here we are on the curriculum management site. If there is something that you need to review, so department chairs, deans, or members of the curriculum committee, TRC, that will show up on your curriculum dashboard. So the review information is on the lower portion of your screen. And it tells you the proposal number, the type, whether it's a revised curriculum, new curriculum, a course form, a deletion. It'll tell you here the name of it. This is really neat. It tells us where the workflow is. So right now, this is where the next, I should say it this way. This is where the person who's reviewing it, who needs to review and approve it next. So for some of these, it's the dean's level. Some it's the department chair level. And you could drop down to open. Now, there's going to be a lot because everyone right now is doing their CLOs. So there's going to be 800, 900 of these right now. They're not going to the curriculum committee. So Susie is going through these. And if it's just CLO updates, she's going to make the final approval. No members of the deans, department chairs, or curriculum committee will need to do that. But, come spring, it's only going to show things that are truly needing the curriculum committee review and vote in this area. The last person to submit is here and the date. So if I was reviewing this, I can open the name of the curriculum. I see what was submitted, and what's really neat is the compare version here. What was changed will show up in red. So we no longer have to guess what was done. What I always do is read the rationale, and then I'm going to, once I read this rationale, going to see if that matches what was done and if everything is accurate. So it's really nice, I think, as a reviewer, you can see in red, okay, and it opened in a new window. I could, if I'm the reviewer, department chair, dean, I could approve this or send it back to the submitter, and I can add a comment. Add the comment. So right now we're looking for department chairs and deans to hit that approve button. If you are in the TRC or the CCC, we do want you to go in here and add a comment to each proposal. So if you think it's all good, just put okay or something simple. If you want to make a recommendation, same thing. That way we know that it's been reviewed and looked at. Right? If there's something glaring, put it there, because then we will see it before we are at agenda planning, and then we could make sure that that was reviewed by the submitter. The good thing as well, if you're a submitter, you will go to this platform and you could click My Items, and you can open that up and see if someone wrote a comment to you. And I don't have to email you anymore to say, hey, this was set on your curriculum. Could you please change that? Otherwise, it's not going to move to curriculum. But I can see if somebody wrote comments to me if I'm the submitter. And My Items will be under My Items. Okay. So curriculum committee meeting, TRC, your job come December meeting or spring, write a comment, but don't hit these approve buttons yet. Right? The curriculum office will handle the approve button, and it's going through the exact same steps that it goes through right now. Once it gets to the curriculum office, TRC, CCC will review. It'll go to agenda planning. We'll go to a vote live. Once we vote live and everyone approves the curriculum, then Susie will go back and hit approve. Then it goes to the Senate. We're going to approve after the Senate meeting. We send to the board. We approve after the board. We send to ICCB, and then it gets approved after ICCB. Let me close some of these so I don't lose track of where I'm at. So under curriculum management, we have the curriculum forms and the course forms. Okay, and it looks like 6 buttons, but it really is just whether you're revising curriculum, new curriculum, delete curriculum, or new course, revised course, delete course. And again, the course outline is divided. So half of it, right? I like to think of it this way. The most, like, the really important stuff is in the course form. Now, if we go to the syllabus management, we have master syllabus and sectional syllabus. The master syllabus has all the details on the course outline that really we don't visually see in a catalog. So it does take a moment for these to load because there's so many. So we'll just pick one, open up this modify master syllabus. Now, over the summer, we had individuals copy and paste these information into the master syllabus. So as faculty, it's our responsibility to make sure that's accurate. So this is your second task for this fall. Go through all the master syllabus. Department chairs could decide how they want that to be done, preferably by someone teaching the course. And this information that you see right here that is not editable is from the course form, right? That form that we just finished looking at. That'll just input right into this master syllabus. And then you'll see the fields that are here in addition. Recommended instructional strategies, it needs to be done. No one's is done because they were brand new last spring. So you're going to click your recommended instructional strategies. I do have references from that, I believe, from the September meeting, and I should also probably post that in the curriculum Blackboard shell for everyone. There was descriptions for each of these. The formative and summative assessment, they are there. You've got to open the drop-down menus to see what was copied and pasted, but they are here. And again, everything is identical to the course outline right now. Nothing new was added. Just looks a little different because it's online. Recommended summative and formative assessment. There are fields for notes if need be. You can fill that in. The other thing besides instructional strategies, make sure the indirect assessment tools is checked because that was not copied over. Then you're going to check your book, and then all the fun stuff comes down here. We have the topic, topical learning outcome. For each topic, how many hours is spent on that particular topic, lecture lab or clinical lab. At the end, similar to what we have now, we have a total contact hour for the entire course for lecture lab and clinical lab. So it looks a little different, but the fields are exactly the same. So down here, remember right now on the course outline, it's a table format and it goes across. This is more vertical. Okay, so faculty should go in here and make sure that it's accurate. And that is under modify master is where you're ensuring the accuracy. I was going to open one from my department. I don't want to submit someone from someone else's department. And I'll get to whoever raised their hand in one moment. I could delete this. I don't want to rush through it, but you know, this would be my department. I would click what I need to click. The effective date, Susie has requested that we actually just leave it as is because this is after a vote. If you're not changing content and you're really just clicking recommended instructional strategy, indirect observation, but you're not changing any major content, leave the effective date the same. If you are changing a topic, a topical learning outcome, an assessment, if you're changing something major, change it on this form, but also email Susie and I to let us know that you are changing something, because we are going to get over 800 modify master syllabus form and over 800 course forms to review. And if you email us to say, I changed this, then I could zone in on that with more scrutiny than, you know, just saying, okay, it was course learning outcome, we'll update it. Once you input any change, if it's minor, then you're just going to hit save. If it's a major change, you're going to hit save and submit. Either way, both hit save and submit. But the additional thing I want you to do if it's a major change after save and submit is email Susie and I. All right, let me get to that question before we move on to sectional syllabus and who had raised their hand.
Julianne, it's Lisa Moss. I had a question. A couple of years ago, we had general education learning outcomes added to our course outlines. Is there a place for that on these as well?
Yeah, I do believe it's a revised course form.
Oh, okay. All right, great. I just wanted to make sure.
So and I'll open up my tip sheet. Hopefully this opens. My computer is so different at home. Okay, let's see here. So what we'll see here, this is the curriculum forms. I like this tip sheet. I have to use it myself, even though I made it. Under the course forms, this is everything in here, and you'll see the Gen Ed learning outcomes for each course. So these are the fields that are on the course form. These are the fields that are on the master syllabus form. So if you're trying to change something and you're not sure where it's at, look at this and say, okay, I want to change a topic. It's under master syllabus. I want to change Gen Ed outcome. It's under course form. I want to add my final exam date. It's under sectional. Okay, does that help?
Absolutely.
Did I lose everybody?
Absolutely. Yeah,
oh,
absolutely. Okay. Thank you so much for making those.
Okay, so yeah, that's the watermark tip sheet.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Michael, did you have a question or comment?
Yeah, a little of both, Julianne. First, I want to, I did the first part. I've already forgotten what we call it. Not the syllabus, but the other part.
Course form.
Course, yeah, earlier this month, and I want to tell anyone who is where I was pretty lost during the last meeting, and I used Julianne's sheet that was just kind of a step-by-step guide, and I got through all of my courses in a very short time. It was I had forgotten that I didn't have to approve them myself and had to contact Susie and Julianne about that and be told, but other than that, it went very smoothly for me. I'm hoping for the syllabus stuff we're doing that you'll have something similar, because I will definitely do better with that than trying to learn this. But it really helped a lot, and so I would just advise anyone who's feeling a little lost to go ahead and use that. And it's very well done, Julianne.
Thank you, and I have a big smile on my face right now because I'm wanting everyone to learn this, and actually, like, again, I've been working at it a year and a half, but it's super easy for me right now, and I want you all to be there in a year and a half too. But yeah, that's how to update course learning outcomes. That's what he's speaking of, and I can show you. Like, I opened one of the literature courses here, and if I'm reviewing this, I'll do it live real quick here. I trust that everything you did was good. I'm looking, I could read really quick and look really quick, but I'm looking here at the course learning outcomes. I'm looking here, only thing that was done was updated CLOs. That's the rationale. If you did add something else, please put it here in the rationale, and know that you can attach files for advisory committee meetings if need be. So I'm looking over here. As a reviewer, I am not going to change anything unless the submitter agrees to it. If it's something silly like he put CRO, okay, I see, okay, it's just a typo, I'll fix that myself. But we don't want to be changing people's content and topics, obviously. I can make a comment here for him. Looks good. One other thing I'm going to do as a reviewer is I'm going to compare versions. What he types in will appear in red. So, it looks like maybe, I don't know why it didn't look like it was a typo, but that word was changed. He entered 0 for lab hours because there isn't any. And then he redid the course learning outcomes, put his rationale, put the names. It looks great. I'll go back to the main one. If I wanted to return it to him, I could, and then I'm going to click approve. And I could put a comment. And then you could put whether you're dean, department chair, whatever you want to put, and submit. Please do not, no matter what, hit the final approval button. That's just really for Susie to use when it gets back from the ICCB. Now, where are we at here? It moved from this. It thought I was the department chair for your area, so it moved from department chair to the dean, and now it's at the dean level. The dean would approve it. Once the dean approves it, then it goes to the curriculum office. And each one of these approvals will spur an email. As soon as that approve button is hit, an email will begin. When Susie hits approve from the, so here we are, workflow state. When Susie hits approve from the curriculum office, then an email should be sent to all the curriculum committee members in TRC that you have something in there to review. Okay. And we want the curriculum committee member TRC to make their comments, and then the office will handle approvals from there. And then what will happen is eventually it will get, I keep hitting that, eventually we'll get to the final approval. These will, if it's just CLOs, it doesn't need to go through curriculum committee or ICCB. We're just really adding them back to the system. So I just did the final approval on that course. When I do the final approval on that course, it no longer will appear in this work area. It should, cross your fingers, be approved in the archive that it was done. I don't know which one was it, with 231? Yeah. So that's approved. It's done. The final vote was made, and now this will be updated. Susie, I think we're going to update it like we do currently, which is effective when, usually next semester. So Susie approves, like whatever was in here right now isn't going to be reflected in the catalog until Susie hits like that master catalog change button. Just like it's done right now, she updates the catalog like every semester, I do believe.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the approved ones will be here, but they're not going to be in the catalog until the effective date. That's the same process we're using right now. So curriculum members, the TRC, your work area is down here under curriculum dashboard. Submitters, your work area is here. Check and make sure people send in comments, and then the completed approvals are here. Syllabus management, everything works the same way. There's nothing here in my workflow area right now because no one, it looks like nobody did their review of their master's syllabus yet. I wanted to go over sectional syllabus next. We do have, I think, a couple that we practiced with. Let me see here. Well, these are all master syllabus that we practiced with. Here's sectional syllabus.
Julianne, I have one suggestion.
Go ahead.
For the effective dates on the form, just if the faculty could just enter in the semester and the year, that would be good, and I'll fill out the definite date. So that tells me which catalog it would be in, and
but you don't want them changing the effective date,
right?
If they're only updating the course learning outcomes. Is that, we're only changing the effective date if there's an actual curriculum committee vote.
But leave the actual date, just put in the semester and the year.
Okay.
And I'll fill in the date.
Okay. Okay. I'm wondering though, I'm going back to a master real quick here. I'm wondering if it's a required field, they won't be able to do that. See the effective date. We might need to make that we might need to make that
change
non-required then. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they could do fall in the year. Can you please email Watermark to get rid of this as a required button then?
I have several others to email. Okay.
Okay. All right, let me show you the sectional syllabus. So let's go, this sectional syllabus is what you hand into students or post, right, in Blackboard for students. Now, what you're going to do, I pushed the wrong button. If you've never done this before, you are actually doing a new sectional syllabus because there's nothing in here, right? Nothing was created as a sectional. The masters were copied and pasted, but nothing for the sectional because that's what the teachers put their personal information on. So we would open up a new sectional syllabus, and what you'll see are the fields that we need to enter. The section number, did this go? Give me a second. Let me see something real quick. You're all here with me, right?
We're here.
Okay. When Susie turns off her microphone, it sounds like I lose everybody. Okay. I wasn't patient enough. I just opened up a new sectional syllabus for one of my courses, so I'm familiar with that. And what you see auto-populate is everything from the course form and then everything from the master syllabus actually that a student needs to see will auto-populate. So there are some things on the master syllabus that the student doesn't need to see, like the assessment, that won't populate, the indirect observation won't populate, but the things that the student needs to see will auto-populate from the course form and the master syllabus form. Then the faculty member will input data on this sectional syllabus, and then at the end of that, they will have the document to post or give to students. The sectional syllabus will only need to be approved by the faculty member submitting it and their department chair. It doesn't go any further than that. So curriculum committee is not looking this over, although we will be able to access it if you use this, because Susie will need to send this for IAI courses for accreditation and for transferability to other universities. They often ask for the syllabus. And you can certainly see that the fields, I know somebody has their hand up, I'll get you in a moment. You can see the fields are self-explanatory again. It's a lot of the personalized information. Everything from board policy 6080 is on here. You won't miss anything. Inadvertently leave things out if you use this. Just looking at that. And then towards the bottom, you will see the topic, the topical learning outcome, the week, and then class assignments to enter. So I started using this. I wanted to add a little bit more detail in some of these areas, and I was able to do that. If you want to add a little bit more detail, but these are the areas for you to enter your activities and so forth. As a submitter, I'm going to save it now just so you see what it's like. I could delete it later. I will save. That would spur an email to the department chair. And then, okay, so once I hit save, remember I said you had to hit save and submit. So you're going to hit that save button and then move to department chair. Otherwise, it'll be stuck there. Typically, when you hit save on something as a submitter, you have to move it forward. The other thing I want to say is, let me say I looked at this and I was like, oh, I want to make that one change. If I wanted to add in something else here, I have to always hit save first. This would be for master or sectional or course form, whatever it may be. You're going to hit save. And then move it forward. Move to department chair. It says the fields weren't filled in. I didn't fill in all those required fields. Okay, let me take some questions now. Who has a question? I thought I saw a hand up, or maybe it was just a chat room. Are you guys still with me?
Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Oh, someone said they couldn't see the screen. I'm sorry. What questions do you have for me on this?
Julianne, basically, if I can get something for the syllabus like I had for the other part, I'm very confident.
Okay.
You know, it's just something that's now do this, now do that. It's because I won't remember all this, but it comes back to you. But it comes back, when you've got the list and then you're doing it, it comes back to you. And it just, I was really expecting the experience to be really bad. And it was, wasn't enthralling, but it was fine. And hopefully
It wasn't thrilling, right?
Hopefully it'll be the same way with this one.
Yes, I do hope so. I don't want this to create stress for anyone. This is the format Watermark gave us, and we did the best we could with it. We really thought going into it that it would be one form for the syllabus, but it ended up being You know, the course form, the master syllabus form, and then the sectional syllabus form. So that's what we have. But if you spend, I would say if you could dedicate a half hour, wherever it might be within the next week to doing it, I think you'll, those of you who've never logged in will feel more confident. We haven't turned on the emails yet either. Know that for approvals. We'll do that. We'll do that soon. We'll do that soon. But one thing I wanted to please ask everyone is if you could just get these 2 basic tasks done of the course learning outcomes and reviewing the master syllabus, so that your forms are ready to go live in spring, it would be greatly appreciated. We do have to go through and approve 800 some course forms, 800 some master syllabus forms. If there's no immediate need to do any other revision, wait till spring. If there is an immediate need to do another revision because of accreditation, or you're pressing to add a new topic, whatever it may be, if you have to do it in November or December, just send Susie and I an email so your course doesn't get lost in the 2,000 that we'll be looking through and approving. If it could wait, I mean, mine are waiting. I have a couple of minor changes. I'm going to wait till spring. Yeah, I'm not going to wait till spring. I'll probably wait till December. We'll wait till the December meeting. Okay, what are your other questions? I'll try to get a cheat sheet for the syllabus then. Let's see, Dennis.
Hi, again, thank you. I'm not a member of this committee. Thank you for your patience in hearing me. As a department chairperson with a lot of adjunct faculty, my question is, will each of my adjunct faculty need to go into Watermark and create a section syllabus to use with their classes?
They have to create a syllabus. They can use Watermark. They can use what they're currently using. And that's we haven't mandated the sectional as of now, but so I think there's your answer.
Okay.
They can use it. They do not have to use it.
That's what I needed to know. Thanks.
Yeah, the rest of us, we have to use the master and the course form because that's what gets submitted to the state. I would highly encourage you to use this sectional if you have an IAI course or an accredited course. I'm going to use it because I don't want problems with my transfers to universities, because they will ask to see a syllabus. They do. Probably almost every week, Susie gets an email saying, I need the syllabus for this course. So then she reaches out to the faculty member and they send the syllabus. So
yeah, the IAI committee I sit on will ignore any document other than a specimen syllabus.
The sectional, you mean?
That's just how we are.
The sectional?
Yeah, I'm sitting on the Humanities Gen Ed committee, and
okay.
I mean, I was flippant. I don't know that we ignore the other things, but without a specimen sectional syllabus,
right,
we won't review things.
Yeah,
and I have the feeling that we're not paying a lot of attention to anything else.
Yeah, that's good to know, because that's what we're hearing, and I'm hearing from Susie in the state. They want to see everything on that sectional syllabus. One thing I want to bring to your attention to maybe stop some frustration is if you are under my items and these are the things you submitted, there's a little work box down here, actually up here. It opens to final step every time. And then you're gonna be like, oh gosh, I can't find my proposal, there's nothing there. What you need to do is go to the workflow where it's at. And that might be draft from submitter, unless it's been approved. So there's a drop-down box. If you're trying to find your items you submitted, you may have to click, where is your workflow at? So mine was, I want to show you this too from the draft. I started to use this for a second 7 that I'm going to be teaching. If you open the syllabus, I don't think I completely finished it yet, but you could hit print this form, and then you will see what it will look like, and it does look pretty cool. And everything on the sectional, again, is imported from course form, master syllabus form, and sectional syllabus form, the fields that the student needs to see. Let's hope it loads. So I still have a little bit of work to go on with this. Not completely finished yet, but that's, you know, what it would look like. And I do believe they said there is a way to save it as a PDF. I haven't done that yet. How do I get out of here without losing everybody? Cancel. There is a way, I will have to find out what that is, to save it as a PDF. And then what will happen is, if I save this, obviously, this semester for fall, once it's done getting the approval from the submitter and the department chair, I can modify that. I could, I don't have to create a new one every semester. Well, this was modify master. I'm going to do modify sectional. I don't know if anybody did it yet. If someone did do it, it would appear here then. I got to get mine up there. I just have a few more fields to fill in before I finalize it. But then you would hit modify sectional and then change the dates and resubmit it. Okay, what are other questions? Okay. Let's see if anything was in the chat. The master, I'm going to go to Lisa's question first and then Terry. Lisa said, are the master syllabus open now? I have attempted several times but was not given access. If you're having trouble accessing, I'm not sure if you're having trouble accessing the system or accessing the master syllabus. Are you there, Lisa?
Yes, I have no problem getting into Watermark. It's just when I click on a course that I need to approve for my master syllabus. It just, a little pop-up box goes across the screen and says that I'm not, I can't remember the exact words, but it's basically I'm being denied access.
Okay, okay. Susie, can you check on that?
I'll check her. Yes.
But in all honesty, it's been a couple weeks since I've gone in there to look and see if I've got access now.
Tell me a number of your course.
OPH, anything OPH. I think I've done.
So they are here.
Yeah.
They are here. And maybe just the user role. So Susie, within the catalog, Susie has access to who needs to be in Watermark and what roles they have, whether you are a submitter, a department chair, you know, and so forth. So she could double check your name and make sure that the role you have is accurate. And that would be the same for everyone. If you're trying to access this and you can't, send us a quick email, Susie and I, and she could check the system to see that your name is matched to the role you have. If there's a new faculty member or new employee that needs it, we'll need to know that too. So it looks like that was the issue with that, because I could pull up your courses. So Susie will check on the user role for Lisa Moss.
Okay, great.
Terry, Terry, would you please clarify or differentiate the responsibilities of chair coordinator versus the assessment fellow? Well, here's what my answer is, and other department chairs could definitely give me their opinion as well. We as department chairs have to make sure that this course form and the master syllabus are accurate every year. So this is the time that I'm doing it in my department. I will look at most of them, but if I feel that a teacher who has the proficiency in an area that I don't, then I will delineate that particular course form or master syllabus to that individual. So as department chair, I could designate who I want to look at, and that could be adjunct, that could be full-time for the master syllabus review, or pasting the course learning outcomes into the course form. Now, I do know that the assessment fellows were tasked with copying and pasting over the course learning outcomes from assessment into curriculum. That happens to be the same person for some departments like me. It's me. But I would say the department chairs should kind of delineate what you feel competent you can do and what you would need help from other faculty members to do.
Thank you.
Okay. What else? I think if you all spend a half an hour playing with Watermark, you're going to be a lot more confident. I will print something up, type something out for syllabus to try to guide you through that the best I can. And look over. If you're stuck, there are short videos for each page. So if I'm doing Watermark homepage, here's a short video. If I'm doing a curriculum form, 5-minute video. A course form, 6-minute video. Master syllabus form, 8-minute video. Sectional syllabus, 6-minute video. Okay. How to review and approve curriculum. This might change based on what we do in November, December, because we've never done it, but I tried to give my best guess on how it's done in this video here. And then the long video down here, 27 minutes, that's everything all at once. It would be going through this whole meeting we just did in one video. So I will post today's recorded Collaborate session in this training area as well. Let me stop. Any other questions? If for some reason you cannot log in, it should be the same credentials as Triton. So if you're having trouble logging in, you can let Susie and I know. But we were told from Watermark it might actually be an IT issue with Triton. So you may need to contact them as well if you're having trouble logging in. Unfortunately, Susie and I did have some issues when we changed our password. So you know, every so months you have to change your password. I had some problems logging in after that. I emailed Watermark support, but before they even got back to me, it seemed to have rectified itself. So I think it was an IT issue from Triton.
Oh, Julianne, I was also told that to clean your cache, that may be an issue of signing in.
After you change your password?
Yes, or anytime if you're having trouble.
Okay. Okay. The due dates for the review of the master syllabus would be no later than the end of fall. The due dates for the copying and pasting of the course learning outcomes it's in October. Let me see if I could find the due date from an email that
I thought it was the 21st October.
Christy sent to me. I'm looking. This email that I have dated from September 21st, she said is October 28th. Is that what you said, Susie?
I thought 21st, but it could be 28th.
I'll post it in the chat room. This was copied and pasted right off an email from Christy. So just about the end of October for the course learning outcomes, the end of fall for the master syllabus. Susie and I are going to assume once you submit those the course forms or the master syllabus forms, that all you did was review them. Okay, so for the master syllabus, you're going to review it. I'm typing in the chat room so you can all visualize it. Review form, enter instructional strategies, and then indirect observation. If you do anything above and beyond that, we need to know. Otherwise, we're going to assume that all you did was the course learning outcomes and then the review of this master syllabus, and we're going to go in, scan it real quickly, and do a final approval so that come spring, all these forms are good to go, and we're just going to be using the most current version and the correct version in spring. Okay. It's CLOs in the course form, sorry. What are any other comments or questions before we end then? Susie and I are working on updating the handbook as well, but we need to solidify how things work in Watermark before we do that, because the steps will be documented then in the handbook. So that's coming, but it's this has got to come first. watermark's got to come first, and we have to be able to use that properly. Okay, then we are going to end the meeting for October 6th, 2022 at 3:52 p.m. What do we need to do? Vote on it?
Motion?
Motion to approve of ending this meeting. I'm sorry, I always get burnt out right at this time.
So moved.
Raise your hand if you want the meeting to end.
So moved.
Second?
Thank
All
you,
right.
Julianne. That was wonderful.
Thanks, everyone. If you've got questions, email me.
Thanks, Julie. This was a big help. Thanks for letting me sit in.
Oh, sure. Thank you very much for attending, everyone. I'm going to stop the recording then.